the vast territories and many peoples of the Roman Empire, in which the new religion spread during its formative decades and centuries, and its astounding, amazing growth and development. Now, the Olympian gods of classical Greece and the Roman Republic / Empire, of which the Homeric poems are our earliest literary evidence of, had no hope of a happy afterlife. There was a common dismal fate which was shared by all. The shades or specters of the dead would descend into the gloom and doom of Hades, the underworld, from which no escape was possible. And there was no hope for salvation from this shared dismal human fate. This Hellenic view of humanity's ultimate destiny forms the pattern of the official city-state or polis religion of ancient Greece. This finds an outlet of expression in Greek literature, art, and philosophy, a type of sad dignity and tragic destiny. Infuses Hellenic artistic expression, paintings, literature, vases, whatever. And solemn funeral scenes were even sculpted on, some rather high-ranking tombs. Now, to the Greeks, the Olympian deities had to be respected and served, worshipped, in order to maintain the prosperity of the city-state. Now, failure to do so, failure to serve the gods and goddesses by observing the rites, rituals, and taboos of their cults, equated to nothing less than sin, a transgression of divine law that involved dire consequences. For example, in the Iliad, the god Apollo, he afflicts the entire Greek army with a plague because King Agamemnon desecrates his temple and insults his priests. Another example, Oedipus, who unknowingly commits incest and patricide, screws his mom and kills his dad. Well, he receives a pitiless flood of divine punishment. Oedipus's sins are a type of spiritual pollution, a darkening of the soul that brings disaster and doom not only to himself, but to his city-state, Thebes. Hubris was considered by the Greeks to be the most grave or mortal sin. And they felt that the gods would be relentless to anyone who forgot his or her mortal status and became so enraptured by their own achievements and good luck, they would dare think of themselves as a god. This was considered by the Greeks to be the gravest of all sins. Divine retribution would fall upon anyone who was foolish or vain enough to think themselves invincible or immortal. Now, the religion of the polis, the city-state, was not designed to cater to anyone's personal spiritual needs. But centuries later, post-Alexander the Great, and the merging of Hellenic, Persian, and Egyptian cultures that followed in the Great One's wake, the mystery religions rise to prominence, and they offered the possibility of a happy afterlife. They offered the chance to escape the grim prospects of Hades, the underworld. Salvation only for the specially initiated, those who participated in secret rites and rituals. This was a type of privileged instruction and education in esoteric knowledge and doctrines. The cults promised a blessed afterlife. Depending upon magical rites and rituals that offered emancipation of the soul and freedom from the physical body. Each individual soul was thought to be of celestial origin and immortal. Initiation into the mystery cults was considered a type of spiritual purification and an imparting of sacred or mystical wisdom. Now, a good life and a sense of moral discipline was kind of required for a person to reestablish their cosmic celestial origin and gain a happy, eternal afterlife. New cults would be established very rapidly. For example, you have Isis from Egypt, Attis and Adonis from Asia Minor, and Mithras from Iran/Persia. And their widespread popularity throughout the vast territories of the Roman Empire reflected the basic human need for spiritual assurance of a blessed afterlife, a need that wasn't exactly satisfied by the official state religions of Greece and Rome. Now, the cults of Attis and Adonis, which were very ancient, were linked to primordial rituals and connected to the ancient dying and rising vegetation god, whose annual death and resurrection mirrored or paralleled the crops and fields. Well, their cults offered an individual hope that a similar cycle of death and rebirth was possible for humanity. We could be reborn just like the crops and fields, with a bit of divine help and guidance, of course. Now, the mystery cults, the mystery religions, were a special form of personal spirituality. And the fate of a god or goddess, the dying, rising deity, was linked to the individual believer and would become highly influential, a type of model for Christianity. Now, during the Hellenistic era, the mystery cults filled a spiritual vacuum, becoming the virtual essence of spirituality in the Greco-Roman world. The worshiper, the initiate into the mysteries, well, got a mass of spiritual benefits and, guarantees. The structure of the cult offers an individual a strong sense of community and an intense feeling of communion with the divinity, a type of union and reunion at the same time. This union and reunion with the divine is where Gnosticism, Hermeticism, and Neoplatonianism, the late Egyptian, Judeo-Christian, and Greek, forms of religiosity or mystic spirituality. That's when Gnosticism, Hermeticism, and Neoplatonianism enter the picture. These mystical philosophies claimed to possess esoteric knowledge, knowledge about the human condition and the true nature of the universe. Now, Gnosticism and Hermeticism, account for the misery of human life and the domination of the stars and planets over humanity. The two religious spiritual philosophies also focused on the duality of human nature. They believed that our ethereal souls were imprisoned, incarcerated in a physical body, locked away inside a prison of flesh. Now, a primordial fall from grace was given as the reason for the descent into human form. We fell from our true home, the celestial spheres, the abode of the Father of Light, into the lower material physical world. We fall from spiritual into physical. Now, this physical world we now share with nature and the animals. So humanity, in this religious view, this religious philosophy, humanity is born from this cosmic union between the celestial spirit and the physical/animal world. The divine and natural merge. And in the fall from the light, humanity is now subjected or dominated by the celestial powers that rule the universe. So the concept of salvation involved here was the freeing of the ethereal soul, the unlocking of the soul from its, corruptible material or physical matter, the flesh, the unlocking of the soul from the flesh. The soul could then ascend to its true nature and true home with the Father of Light. The Gnostic sects, Judeo-Christians mostly, located in Syria, Egypt, and parts of Israel, featured a radical rejection of the visible world, and the elect souls were considered to be divine sparks. Sparks temporarily locked inside matter, the physical body. this prison of flesh, was the result of a pre-cosmic catastrophe. The chosen or elite were saved by a redeemer slash Messiah that was linked to Jesus Christ. Christ being sent from the transcendent goddess, I did say goddess, not God, whose teaching awakened the sleepwalking soul, awakened it to an expanded consciousness of its divine celestial origins and eternal destiny. Now, a primordial sin was given as the explanation why humanity needed such drastic, radical redemption. The female cosmic power known as Sophia, which translates to wisdom, was too intelligent, too inquisitive, and too restless. This led to the making of this visible, physical, material world, a reality fashioned by an incompetent, malevolent creator God who just happens to be male. Now, most Gnostic sects were highly aesthetic and very anti-sex. They were chaste, believed in, chastity. Some were very, very misogynistic and did not allow women into their ranks, while other Gnostics produced a highly spiritual religion of eroticism. They liked sex very much. This religion of eroticism was supported by the concept of privileged divine grace. Now, Neoplatonianism sought spiritual salvation through an eclectic philosophy that was combined with a